Officially,
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. I welcome you all to the afternoon session of our 21 days program. Today, we have the honor and the pleasure of having Dr. JP Singh with us. The topic of deliberation today is conservation and utilization of plant biodiversity in arid ecosystem. Now, let me invite Dr. Surender to give a formal introduction of our esteemed guest. Dr. Surender, can you unmute yourself and
Thank you, Majid.
sure.
A very good afternoon to all and greetings of the day. I welcome you all in afternoon session of second day of this Faculty Development Program 2022. Today we have with us Dr. Jaiprakash Singh, Head and Principal Scientist, Economical Botany and Plant Genetic Resources, Division of Natural Resources, ICAR Central Arid Zone Research Institute, Jodhpur, for today's lecture on conservation and utilization of plant biodiversity in arid ecosystem. It's my privilege to welcome you, sir. Before I request our today's eminent speaker to actually start the lecture, I take this opportunity to share a glimpse of his glorious and inspiring scientific research journey with all of us. Dr. Jaiprakash Singh is presently Head and Principal Scientist, Division of Natural Resources at ICAR Central Arid Zone Research Institute, Jodhpur, Rajasthan. He is a scientist of great scientific repute, and his field of specialization include ethnobotany, grassland management, and arid rangeland biodiversity conservation. Dr. Singh has a total of 32 years of research experience in which he worked at different scientific positions at different institutes, including ICAR IGFRI Jhansi, ICAR Kajri Regional Station Bikaner, and ICAR Kajri Jodhpur. He has published 75 research papers in various reputed scientific journals, edited 2 books, and also published 56 book chapters and 41 popular articles. Dr. Singh is life member of many professional societies, including Range Management Society of India, ICAR IGFRI Jhansi, Indian Society of Plant Genetic Resources, ICAR NVPGR New Delhi, Arid Zone Research Association of India, ICAR Kajri Jodhpur, and Indian Society for Arid Horticulture, ICAR CIAH Bikaner. He is fellow of Range Management Society of India, IGFRI Jhansi. I once again welcome you, sir, and request you to share your research experience with all of us through your lecture. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. Now the topic is the conservation and utilization of plant biodiversity in arid ecosystem. And you know, the biodiversity is the variety and variability among living organisms and their ecological complexes in which they occur. And you see the 3 levels of biodiversity we have: genetic diversity, species diversity, and ecological diversity. So biodiversity is a matter of concern to everyone, as most of the economic sectors like agriculture for wild genetic resources, human health for many pharmaceuticals, herbal medicines. Industry requires raw materials from the natural sources. And tourism, you see, based on its restriction on natural amenities like linked to the biodiversity. And our water resources also require intact vegetation to protect watershed. And again, the disaster prevention, and we need natural vegetation to help people. So biodiversity has emerged an internal component of human life and has undoubtedly one of the keystone of sustainable development. And if you see the biodiversity index in Indian context, and our country constitutes 7.8% of the total life found in the earth, and we have the total geographical area 2.54% globally, and we have exceptional range of diversity, including all the major world ecosystem. You see, we have 10 biogeographical zones like Trans-Himalayan zone, Himalayan zone, Indian Desert Zone, Semi-Arid, Western Ghat, Deccan Plateau, Gangetic Plain, Northeast region, coastal areas, and islands. So, and again, we have 25 biotic provinces. So you see, we have from the cold and high Himalayan region to sea coast. Again, we have wet northeastern grain forest to dry northwestern arid deserts. And we have different types of forest, wetland, islands, and oceans. So we have the range of diversity. Again, India has the one of the world 12 now 17 mega center of diversity. And the diversity is rich due to the meeting points of three regions, Indo-Malayan, Eurasian, and Afro-tropical. And it is, and our country is one of the oldest and largest agricultural societies. We have about 166 species of crop plants and more than 300 wild varieties of crop plants. Now, if you see the arid land biodiversity, so arid land ecosystem, we have fewer number of species, less species, however important when considering within species variability. And if you see the whole arid region, Rajasthan state, it is about 62%. Gujarat, we have area about 20%. Then Punjab, Haryana, Andhra Pradesh, Telangana, Karnataka, and this Maharashtra also we have some area. And you will see the diversity in this region with a very having inherent adaptability to harsh climatic condition. And we have land usage and wild relatives of crops, pasture, and horticultural species. Like crops in arid region, you will find pulse millet, bajra, moat bean, cluster bean, guar. We have a range of cucurbits, watermelon, slate melon, other melons, and we have a diversity of pasture grasses like buffalo grass, Sanctus ciliaris, birdwood grass, Sanctus sativus. We have seven grass, Lepidus indicus, Hispanicum turgidum, and we have number of symphophone species. In pastoral legumes, we have diversity in the species of Indigofera, Taphyrosia species. So you can see the diversity in the arid region. Now, if you see the hot arid region, so climatically, you see we have very low and erratic rainfall, higher evapotranspiration, and you see the evapotranspiration vary from 1600 mm in the eastern part to 1800 mm in the western part. We have extreme temperature. Sometimes we have about 50% in the summers, strong wind jammies. The soils with other low fertility, very low carbonic content. We have very poor organic matter. You see 0.04 to 0.12%. Low in nitrogen 0.02 to 0.7%. Low in medium phosphorus 0.5 to 0.10%. And you see, again, as I told you, the way we have low and erratic rainfall. So rainfall varies 100 mm to northwest in Jaisalmer, extreme Jaisalmer district, to 450 mm to southwest near the Aravallis. So if you see the in a hot arid ecosystem, in low rainfall to high rainfall region, so you have three main reasons. One is livestock systems, in which we have the range pasture livestock farming system. And when we move to the little bit high rainfall, you will find the agroforestry mixed farming livestock pasture system. And again, and in 450 mm rainfall, we have arable cropping, agroforestry, and livestock farming. So you can see the diversity of the hot arid ecosystem. Now, if you see vegetation of the zone, it is sparsely distributed, and we have not high number of species. We have about 700 species. But in spite of severe biotic factors, climate, harsh climate, unproductive soils, the vegetation managed to cover a lot of land surface by virtue of well-adapted species. They are having the short life cycle, greater period of seed longevity, dormancy, reduction in transferring surface. And you see the number of perennial deciduous or evergreen shrubs along with few succulents dominate the desert vegetation. Some of the few pteridophytes in which you'll find the very deep root system like KG process cineraria, It is sparsely distributed in various soil types in the arid region. And again, you will find very this vegetation, the silent depressions, locally called as runs or playa, represent the unique halophyte vegetation in the desert. And it is these halophytes have the amazing tolerance to salt and water stress. So biodiversity, particularly to phytodiversity in the arid region, is depleting due to overexploitation of the resources, invasion of exotic species, creation of irrigation, recurrent drought, climate change, and also dilution in customary conservation practices. So if you see, we have very high grazing and browsing pressure. It is grazing intensity is very high. It is 5 times in arid region as compared to the normal carrying capacity we have. So carrying capacity is 0.2 to 0.5 ACU adult cattle per hectare, and in semi-arid it is over 3 times of normal in semi-arid areas. So you can see the livestock pressure in the rangelands. You can see this small ruminants and large ruminants. You can see the plant of the deciphus nubile area, locally known as bolding. This is scale. You can see the how much is the browsing pressure on these species. So the browsing pressure is one of the main factor for this depletion of diversity. Again, you see habitat destruction. So habitat destruction is one of the most important factor for depletion of diversity. Recently, convergence of Lesotho indigenous and pennycontent grasslands in the croplands in Jaisalmer district, we are losing the other medicine plant species in this region. You can see the destruction of this grassland and for digging of the roots, particularly the Caligonum polygonides in the arid region. Now, again, unsustainable exploitation of the natural resources. So, this unsustainable practice leads to the exhaustion of genetic bank, erosion of biodiversity. Again, unscientific method in collection of gums and resinous substance trees. You see, we have a great loss of diversity in plant population of Comnifera vitae, Google in the desert by for extracting the gums. Another important point is unsustainable harvesting practice, particularly those medicinal plants in which underground or retorted parts are used. The species of Chiropisia, Argenia, Dipcadi in western Rajasthan. So again, large-scale root digging for fuel wood of the keystone species like Caligonum polygonides. This is again harming the diversity. Now, invasion of species. Now, the coast of Juliflora in the areas it is embedded in the grassland area in Rajasthan, also in the Gujarat, in Kutch, Gujarat, you will find the proliferation of this Prosopis juliflora. This is the photograph of the Ghaznair sanctuary in Bikaner, setting the habitat of indigenous sub and undershrub Heliotropium radicularum, which is one of the important photo resource of these gravelly areas. Now, if you see the genetic spectrum of agrobiodiversity, so we have wild relatives, we have land races and primitive cultivars, we have obsolete cultivars, advanced breeding lines, mutations, modern cultivars. So these wild relatives are very important. These are crop. These relatives of crops share common ancestors and crops, but have remained in the wild as products of the nature. So these wild relatives of crop are very important for conservation point of view. Another is land races and primitive cultivars. These are the local crop varieties developed in the primitive agriculture system. So these are very important. Then again, obsolete cultivars. These are the leftover from the early days of plant breeding, and these are also now found in the gem plants collection. These are the advanced breeding lines developed by the breeders, and modern cultivars, the high-yielding late cultivars, have been developed by scientific plant breeding for modern intensive agriculture. And you see, these wild relatives, land races have the wide genetic base, but When you come to the modern cultivars, we have again narrow genetic base in the diversity. So PG, plant genetic resources in diversity, if you go in the tribal ecosystem, agro ecosystem, you will find the greater diversity. Because if you see in the shifting agriculture, traditional agriculture, they have the four selective varieties from the primitive cultivation. They have the local breeding material, and these are the underexploited. So these reasons, the traditional agriculture region like shifting agriculture or in tribal ecosystem, we have the rich diversity of land races and primitive cultivars. But when you come to the modern in this system, these are high yielding, but very poor diversity and well exploited. So we have to see the reason for this conservation of diversity. Now, if you see the traditional farming system, this is the example in the arid in this western Rajasthan, and you will find the traditional farming system, they are going all mixed cropping system. They are following the mixed cropping system. If the crops fail, then they will harvest the grasses. So these are the traditional systems. Now, if you see the diversity of Matira, watermelon, this is watermelon, and it is locally known as Matira in Rajasthan, and we have collected the germplasm of this Matira from all the western Rajasthan, and we evaluated in the Jaisalmer condition, and you can see the diversity in these all our land races. You see that you can see the diversity in the seed in watermelon in Matira. You can see the shape and size in the fruits. You can see the pulp color also. This is used for table purpose, and most of these types, high seed variety, they are used for the seed purpose. So in traditional system, the farmers used to mix the 100 gram or 200 gram of Matira seeds with the crops. Why they are using this? Because if the crop is fails, then they can get the fruits from the Matira, and now the seeds of Matira also having the great demand in the article of food. So it is you can see the diversity in the Matira. Now this is a Caparis decidua. Now you can see the diversity in flower color of the in the Caparis, and these are the fruits of the Caparis. It is used for the vegetable purpose, and mainly article is used for pickle. And this is one of the important species, one of the important shrub of the arid vegetation. Now, Salvadora olearis, this is known as the grape of the desert. And you will, if you visit sometimes in the Jaisalmer district, you will find the Salvadora. It is known as Pilu or Mithajal. You will find the very good population of this Salvadora olearis. It is the seeds are edible and also used for feeding purpose to the animals. Now, this fog, Caligonum polygonitis. Most of the Caligonum species are the temperate species, but we have only one this Caligonum polygonitis in the western Rajasthan, and this is the pioneer species of the sand dune system. This is a pioneer of sand dune system, and you will find this it is known as the Sanjeevani of the Murusthali, because you will find it is a multi-purpose species. This branches are used this lasso for fodder purpose, and the fogla flower buds are also cultivated as a food item, and it has a ideal species for soil binding, preventing soil erosion, and stabilizing sand dunes in the desert. So it is very important species for the western Rajasthan. Now again, this is the Cordia giraffe, locally known as Gundi, and it is also one of the important species for gravelly areas. And you can find the diversity in this. It grows wild in the Jaisalmer, Bikaner, and Barmer district. also distributed in the semi-arid region, and you will find the diversity from the shrub type to tree type. So you can see the diversity in this species. Again, Gangeram, Grevia. Most of the species of Grevia distributed throughout India. In Himalayan region, you will find the Grevia optiva, Bhiman. But in Rajasthan, in Western Rajasthan, we have few species of Grevia. This is Grevia 10x, and it is very drought hardy species, tolerate frost and high temperature also. And it is rich in nutrients, could be important supplement will improving the nutritional content in arid region. Ripe fruits are eaten, having the high iron content, and this is one of the important species in the arid region. In semi-arid region, we have Grevia flavescens, Grevia hirsuta, Grevia, also Grevia optiva in the, as I told you, Himalayan region. Now again, this is one of the fiber yielding species, Leptadenia pyrotechnica. It is known as, locally known as keep, and it is mainly used as the fiber purpose, but these spores are also used for the vegetable purpose. Now this Gigifus area, we have very good diversity of Gigifus species in the western Rajasthan. There is one species, Gigifus truncata, which is endemic to the desert region, and this Gigifus area is distributed in arid and also in the semi-arid region. And the pala, the leaf fodder, which is locally known as pala, it is very important component of the feeding resource to animals. And you can see the browsing pressure of this goat, small ruminant, to this Gigifus area. And this is the Gigifus rotendifolia. It's the same, another species of the Gigifus, which is used for the grafting of the Gigifus mauritiana. Now again, we have one of the Helixiron genus in the Thar Desert. We have two species here, Helixiron salicornicum, another is Helixiron recurvum. But most of the Helixiron species are temperate. And one of the Helixiron species, Helixiron thomium, is also found in the Ladakh area, which is also used as the fodder. And this is one of the species for hyper-arid region, where we have only 100 to 100, 150 mm rainfall only. And if you visit in the month of May or June in the Jaisalmer region, you will find a very good stand, green vegetation in the Helixiron salicornicum stand. And this is also supposed very support the mushroom growth. This is the mushroom from this stand, and this lana is mainly used for the camel fodder. Camels are fond of this Helixiron salicornicum, and it is also the seeds of this with perianth are also used as an article of food in the famine period, and it is one of the good scent binding shrub of arid region. And farmers claim more yield of permanent malt bean, cluster bean, and watermelon if grown with this. Now, another is species Ephedra ciliata we have, and most of the Ephedra species are the temperate. You will find the Ephedra species in the temperate region or in the cold arid region, but in this is the only gymnosperm species, gymnosperm candidate species in the western Rajasthan. We have a single species, Ephedra ciliata, and it is also one of the threatened species. Main problem of this population decline is the plant, the male and female plants are different in Ephedra ciliata. And this is the female plant, this is the male. You can see this is the male plant, and this is the female plant. You can see the seeds in this. The seeds are also edible, and it is one of the threatened species of Western Rajasthan. It is very important from biodiversity point of view. Now, as I told you, we have some saline areas, runs, and we have few important halophyte chenopod shrubs like Helixiron recurvum, Helixiron distributa fruticosa, Salsolema berriosma. These three species are the true halophytes, and you will find these one or two species up to the this Kutch in Kutch region also, Swida particularly, you will find very good population. And these are the, you can see the photograph from the western Rajasthan. So these are very important species. You can see what is the potential of these halophytes. These are the halophytes for fodder purpose, for gene bank, for salt tolerance species, for carbon sequestration, rehabilitation of degraded lands, particularly the saline areas. These are source of medicine, bioactive compounds, and also economic industrial products. I will show you one of the very good product from this halophyte species, Helicoxylon recurvum. We have Saji, where we use this in the paper industry, and we have some of the important medicine plant like this Google, Pomifera vitae. This is the natural habitat. This Jaisalmer, Jodhpur, again in the Ajmer Hills in Kutch, Gujarat, and you will find the very good diversity of Pomifera vitae, this Google in the Jaisalmer and also in the Jodhpur. But again, the population is decreasing day by day, and you can see the exudation of this gum resin Google from this plant, and demand is very high, and we are not able to fulfill the demand of this gum resin of the Google, and we are exporting the material from the outside, and because it is largely used in the insect for this agarbatti purpose or in Havan Samagri, but now it is used in the medicinal purpose, in the medicine, particularly for the rheumatic diseases. Uh, and you can see the seeds of this, and we are trying to propagate this species in a large scale, thus by vegetative means, by seeds, both the means. Now another species which is also threatened, Vidania coagulans, Panirban. This is another species. One species is Vidania somnifera, which is under cultivation is also ashwagandha, but it is Panirban. Now these the fruits are used for the medicine purpose, mainly for the diabetes, and we don't. Again, the problem is the male and female plants in this Vidania coagulans, but you will find mostly in vegetative stage, but now we are also working on this Vidania coagulans. This is one of the important species. Now this is colocynth. This Citulus colocynthis, Indrayan. It is known as Indrayan and Tumba. And you can find if you visit Jaisalmer, Balmer, or this Bikaner area in rangeland, particularly the dune area, it is a good very sand binding plant, and you can see the fruiting in this species, and lot of fruits are collected by the villagers, and after cutting and drying, they are selling in the market for medicinal purpose, for the oil purpose also. The seed cake is also used as animal feed. So this is very important species for non-edible oil purpose, this tumba. Now you can, if you see the grasses, we have a range of diversity in the grasses. For low rainfall region, we have this seven grass for 100 to 150 mm rainfall. This seven grass, you can see the productivity of this seven grass in the low rainfall region. Again, if you go to the dune area, you will find this Panicum turgidum. This is highly adapted to this xeric condition. Again, if little bit high rainfall, we will find good this Sanctus ciliaris, Anjan grass, buffalo grass, and this is Chimbopogon grass, and again this is Gathia grass, which is the low perennial species. So we have the diversity of grasses in the western Rajasthan. And now, conservation point of how to conserve this diversity, particularly the agrobiodiversity. So conservation of agrobiodiversity is very important in farming system perspective. How we conserve the diversity in farming system. So if you see, these are the period of, we have to see the what are the farming system in the country for conservation, on-farm conservation of genetic resources. If you see animal husbandry waste, you will find only in Gujarat and Rajasthan. Poultry waste, you will find Andhra Pradesh, Assam, Maharashtra, Northeast, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. Crop husbandry based farming system, you will find Andhra Pradesh, Bihar, Chhattisgarh, Goa, Haryana, Jammu and Kashmir, Jharkhand, Kerala, Karnataka, Madhya Pradesh, Northeast, Maharashtra, Odisha. Fisheries based in West Bengal, Odisha, and Assam. Horticulture based, you will find in Jammu and Kashmir, Himachal Pradesh, Maharashtra. Plantation based, you will find in Andaman Nicobar Island, Assam, Kerala, Karnataka. Vegetable based, again you will find in Himachal Pradesh. Then seed production based. So these are the predominant farming system, and you have to see where we can fit our plant genetic, crop genetic resources for conservation of the biodiversity in the. Now, we can integrate the forest grasses and legumes very well, because our, particularly if you say the Rajasthan, western Rajasthan, predominantly we have the this animal husbandry based system. So grasses are very important for this productive purpose and also as the protective purpose, because they have both the roles, productive and protective. And we have the protective grasses also for supply, for forest supply, for production, and for protection, for soil erosion, and again improving the microbial diversity, conservation of red genotypes, or diversity of species we can utilize as production system, agri-pasture, silvipasture, hortipasture. So these, if we want to conserve the permaculture system, we have to go to the sand dune, because this is the niche. These species are the niche species, habitat species. This is the habitat of the sand. If you want to conserve the lesser syndicus, we have to again go to rainfall sandy soils, Sancra ciliaris, sandy soil, Sancra sativa. If you want to Simbapour, then we have to go to gravelly soils. So we have different type of species. Even Dicanthem annulatum, which is a semi-arid species, we will find in the Pali district in high rainfall areas, but we can get the material in some pockets in the Jaisalmer district in the low rainfall in heavy soils. And if we have saline soils, then we can conserve the species of Sporobolus or this Chloris species. And range legumes, again we have species of Tephrosia, Rhynchosia, Tylosia, and we can go for strip cropping system. So again, integration of woody perennials. Now, germplasm or elite types of woody perennials we have to integrate in the system, and it imparts stability in the system, increase yield per unit resource, provide multiple products, ameliorate microclimate, increase resource use efficiency, improve soil, and it is a component of climate sensitive agriculture, sustainability. So you can go, if you want to conserve the woody perennials, shrubs or trees, then you have to go alternate land use system, agri-silvi system, agri-horti system, silvipasture system, hortipasture system, agri-silvipasture system, or boundary plantation. You have the choice of these species. So we work in the Bikaner area. If you have silvi, we can use the elite type material of a trees or shrubs in the silvipasture system, tree and grasses. In agri-pasture system, we can utilize crop and grasses. In agri-silvi system, we can utilize crop and silvi component. Again, you can see agri-horti system. We can go for the medicine plant. This is the aloe species. We have one strip of aloe. We have very good germplasm of, if it's aloe, this aloe barbadensis, locally known as guarpata or ghee guar, and we have very good diversity of this bitter type and sweet type in the western Rajasthan. And if you visit sometimes in the Bikaner market, you will in the vegetable market, you will find a good selling of these pads of this aloe vera only for vegetable purpose. And we have very good diversity. This alone content in the bitter material, and we have collected the diversity. So you can conserve the diversity in the system. Again, you can see this is all the photograph of the Bikaner district. They are the farmers. It is a farmers field. They are conserving this date palm, conserving this guava plant. So you can go for the whole system for conservation of own farm conservation of the agro biodiversity of the region. Now, field bands. You can go for the field bands for conservation of the grasses or legumes or medicine plant. This is one of the important aspects. In some of these states, the farmers use wide field bands for growing of the grasses and uh, for the fodder harvest. Now, integration of medicine plant. When we say the diversification, for herb conservation, we can go for integration of medicinal plant diversity, medicinal aromatic plants, because it is important for diversification in the production system. We need the diversity of material, and now high demand of prime materials in the national international market. It can provide sustainable supply of materials to the pharmaceuticals, herbal industries, and again, it will decrease the pressure on the wild resources by cultivating medicinal aromatic plants, because about 40 or 50 species are under cultivation, and most of these species are collected from the wild sources, from the nature. So if we are cultivating, we are conserving the plant. For cultivating the plant, we are decreasing the pressure on the wild resources, and there is scope for all farm conservation of elite genotypes and with local diversity, like Ashwagandha, Vidania somnifera. This is Indian ginseng. It is very important, high demand for its roots. Shankh Pushpi, Sonamukhi. Now, if you visit Henna, Lasonia enormis, Pali district, it is only 80 kilometers from Jodhpur district, and you will see we have the world best henna cultivation in the Pali district. And you can see we have uh, we we are consuming the henna plants in our regional station Pali, and we have identified some of the elite genotype. So henna plants is there. Then which diversity exists in Simbogon species in sandy gravelly areas, so we can go for this conservation. This is now Pamarosa, this Simbogon, Martinine, vetiver. Now again, vetiver is also going to go for in cultivation. It is both for use for soil conservation purpose, but again for medicine purpose. CMAP, they have identified one of this annual type, because the rhizomes are used for extracting the oil. In Simbogon species, we are extracting oil from the seed, from the leaves and inflorescence. But in case of vetiver, we are using the root part. This is Ashwagandha, and again we have also just introduced chamomile in Rajasthan. It is good, performing well in the Jodhpur condition. So again, if you have the boundary plant light fence, or light fence is also a component of the agroforestry. So it is a wild component in the arid region. It creates microclimate to crops for in summer or in winter, control runoff, facilitate infiltration, conserve moisture, improve crop productivity. On farm, live fence play a greater role to support vines, climbers, and shelter of wild fauna. They provide ecosystem services, and you see some of the traditional live fence species need attention in the arid region, in semi-arid region, like Caligonum polygonitis, Acacia jaconansai, Chlorondon phlomides. This is one of the important species of Ayurveda. This is known as Anni. It is one of the important component of the Rasmula rest. Kankera, Mural, Jinjini, Gangeran, Hathathor, Dandathor, Hingot. So these are the species which we can use as a biofence or life fence for conservation of diversity in the region. So you can see the utilization part serves as a food. You can see diversity of food are derived from the serves in the area region. They fiber crops. This is again unexploited. This Leptodina pyrotechnica. You see, this is the ropes are making from the strong ropes are making. Now we are evaluating some of the germ plant of this Leptodina pyrotechnica, but we have to work on this. Now this, as I told you, this is one of the important halophyte species, Halexilon decurvum, in the western Rajasthan, and this is a true halophyte. And you can see, you will not make the extraction of saji, which is used in the paper industry in the Bikaner district. We have the paper industry in the Bikaner. They are using they are not using salt. They are using this saji prepared from this Halexilon decurvum. You can see this is harvested in the number after fruiting in the month of December, and after stacking for 1 or 2 months, it is burnt in the bhatti for 36 hours, 40 hours. Then it one liquid extruded, and you can see again. This is the condition of this bhatti, just like this mawa, and again this product we get this product saji, and also get this is a good form, and one product is also get chowa, and so this is the product saji, which is from the Halexilon decurvum. It is known as saji lana or khara lana in the western Rajasthan, and first grade saji is obtained from this Halexilon decurvum. So these species are very important, and you will not believe we are not able to fulfill the demand of the saji in the Bikaner in 1 or 2 months. We are taking the material from the outside for fulfilling the demand. Now we have to work on these species. We have to conserve these species and their traditional methods. Now again, we have to revive the traditional conservation measures for conservation of the traditional sources like orange. Orange is sacred groves. These are the natural silvipasture system in the western Rajasthan, and if you visit particularly Jaisalmer, Bikaner, and the Balmer district, you will find in most of the villages having the open area or gochar. Gochar means grassland. Beer means grassland for haymaking. Agor area. These are the catchment area for the water harvesting. Jod or Tobas for this ponds. Runs, as I told you, saline depressions, and cuttings. These are runoff farming system. I will tell you, these are the very important system of these. So we have to revive the traditional conservation measures for then. So inhabitants have the traditional wisdom how to restore the biodiversity, because they have long association with the area of biodiversity. They are familiar with the existing flora. They are also familiar with the fauna. They know the ecological interrelationship, understanding, or they have the religious beliefs in Tulsi, Mau, Pippal, Khejari, Folk, Care, Kankera. So they have religious belief in Tulsi. We don't pluck the leaves of Tulsi on Sunday. Mavua is a very important in the Singh region. Khejari, if you see the Khejari, Prosopis area, it is known as Sami in the Sanskrit, and it is one of the important plant and called as Kalpvrax in Western Rajasthan. Which why it is known as Kalpvrax? All the parts of this plant are used. Its leaves, which are known as loom, is a main article of the feed of the animals. Sangri, its spots are known as sangri, which are the main article of food of Panchkuta, which is, the dry pots of sangri are the rate of sangri dry food is more than 500 to 600 to 800, even 1000 rupees kg. Care. Kankera, these are also has having the religious beliefs. Again, the sacred root. There are some magical religious beliefs also on this plant, and these all this show the conservation importance. Now, this is the traditional arrangement of four resource based Bochar Oran. This is the Oran in near the Gazner sanctuary in the Bikandian district, and you can see Oran. You will find the good diversity in the woody perennials, shrubs and trees. But the main problem is the underground vegetation. The grass now for rehabilitation program, you can go for the reshading of the suitable grasses, so you can conserve this diversity. Now, as I told you, Khadin, this is the land use system developed long ago, and it is an indigenous construction designed to harvest surface runoff water for agriculture. And it was designed by the Paliwals in Jaisalmer district, and it is practiced where rocky catchment area is there, because runoff collects from the rocky areas and it collects here in the well in the this low lying area. You can see this is the Khadin in the Khadin in the Jaisalmer district, and you can see then the cropping this wheat crop and chickpea. You can see this is the land race. You can say land race or primitive variety of this chickpea and wheat. You can see these are no irrigation, no fertilizer. They are going for the you can see no light is there, no provision of the water, only reseeding of the water. The crop matures like wheat or this chickpea, and in normal rainfall like this year, you will get the full of water in the Khadin, and we have more than 500 Khadins in the Jaisalmer district itself, and it is very important component of this conservation of this. You can see the boundary plantation of Acacia nilotica, baboor, and kelgerry plants on the boundary. So, anthropogenic impacts on PGR. Many species of traditional importance adversely affected and marginalized to the extent of being threatened to various degree. And these threatened species, we have to need to conserve on priority basis, in situ and ex situ. We are going for ex situ conservation, no problem. We have Indonesia, National Bureau of Planetary Resources, but in situ for gene pool conservation, for evolution purposes, the in situ conservation is very important for conservation of diversity. Now you see, genetic resource of rare, endangered, and threatened plant species. These are the life, most of the Arid species are the life support species in arid zone. Unique in biological properties, they have great potential, they ensure food security during the famine period. Potential in diversified agroecological niches, but there is not much work has been done on these species, because but in situ conservation of these species is required for the regeneration, and this is one of the species Glossonema variants. So why we have to conserve the diversity? We have to conserve the biodiversity for wild progenitors of the crop plants, wild relatives, because in breeding program we need the wild materials. We do not know which disease will come, which disease will appear. So wild progenitor of crop plants are very important, wild relatives, and not in this plant, but microbes are also very important for conservation point of view. Again, stud-related genes in agriculture. I will cite one example. If you sometime visit Pali district, in Pali district, of Rajasthan, there is a village Kharchia, and they are going Kharchia land is so wheat, and this Kharchia land is so wheat is one of the most salt tolerant wheat genotypes found in India, and it is used in many of the programs in wheat breeding. So this is you can see the importance of this species. Stress gene, mining gene for human benefit, metabolites for arid ecosystem. Maybe it is hot arid or cold arid, because stress, when plants are in stress more and more, diverse are the secondary metabolites for medicine point of view. So 80 to 9% medicine based on the secondary metabolites. And deserts, hot deserts or cold deserts of Ladakh, they have little stress to plant, more interesting metabolites. So again, we have to give more special attention for transition zone, because they have a greater fluctuations, smaller population, they have greater isolation, greater chance for hybridization. So this is very important. Conservation of diversity is very important, and this is the species of the khejari. It is known as Calpurax. It is known as if it is Prosopis cinerea, and you will find the reference of this khejari or Shamivrax in the Ramayana period. You can also find this reference in the Mahabharata period, and you can see this is the when there was a famine, the bark of this tree was also used with the flour of the fermented bajra during the famine period, and it is the culprit of this. And this is the only plant you'll see. This is the plant in the Sylvie system, agri-Sylvie system. There is no reduction of crops underneath of the trees of khejri. This is the only plant where you will find the increase of crop yield in this khejri tree. So this is the khejri. So thank you very much. This is a very big subject. I covered this. So thank you very much. If you have any question, you can ask.
Participants, if you have any questions, please ask the sir. Any questions? You can ask directly the sir. All the questions you can ask directly. So there are some questions in the chat.
Yeah.
Uh, what is halophytes and phaerophytes?
Halophytes are the species growing in the saline areas. So we have two halophytes, regular halophytes. So halophytes, most of the halophytes are growing in the saline areas.
Okay, sir.
So species which are adapted to saline condition are the halophytes. Teratophytes are those species which have very deep root system, which take water from the you reach well more than 10 meter, 20 meters, like this Prosopis area. It is one of the important teratophyte in the arid region.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Dr. Prabhakar Biswas, great presentation, sir. Very informative presentation, sir. Any other questions? Madhvi has asked one question. Sir, what is the percent of mining of resistant genes from these wild species?
Yeah, mining of genes mean we can, some of the wild species are very important for the gene conservation purpose. Like as I told you, this halophytes, they are the important species for stress condition, abiotic stress, abiotic stress condition. And we have the species like this helicoidal species for high temperature species, low temperature species. So these are the species.
There's
In
other
one,
question.
uh,
During summer, which plant mostly use it for fodder?
yeah, during summer, mostly if you go to in Jaisalmer district, just as I told you, as a browse plant, they will use Acacia jacobensii, Helixilon salicornicum, it was used. And in case of grasses are types of browse component is very important in the summer season. Mainly the shrub species.